President Donald Trump has unleashed a fiery and emotional reaction to the rising violence and mass kidnappings unfolding in Nigeria, calling the crisis a total disgrace and expressing anger over what he describes as a brutal wave of killings targeting Christians across the country. Trump claimed that thousands are being killed, describing the situation as genocide and insisting that the Nigerian government has failed to protect its own people. In his remarks, Trump emphasized that the United States sends significant financial aid to Nigeria and suggested that the U.S. may be forced to apply pressure or punitive measures if the Nigerian leadership continues to be, in his words, ineffective in stopping extremist violence. He went as far as alleging that Christians in the nation are being killed at will and argued that the world remained silent on the issue until he personally raised it. The comments came amid heightened media attention, following weeks of coverage surrounding a disturbing escalation of kidnappings and terror attacks. A panel held at the United Nations, organized at the request of Ambassador Michael Waltz, pushed the issue into sharper focus. In a surprising appearance, global music star Nicki Minaj joined the discussion after revealing that her own past is Nigerian and has been advocating on behalf of those suffering under the attacks. The renewed spotlight coincides with what observers say is the third mass kidnapping within a single week, and analysts warn that the situation has worsened under Nigeria's current president. Reports highlight a series of new attacks, including gunmen storming a Catholic school just days after another assault on a Christian church. According to security assessments, Nigeria is currently battling 22 different Islamic extremist factions, including the notorious Boko Haram, as well as groups aligned with ISIS. These organizations have been linked to years of targeted violence against Christian communities, prompting growing international alarm. Ambassador Waltz, who previously worked in Nigeria helping to train Navy SEAL-style rescue teams, described the crisis in deeply personal terms. He recounted harrowing first-hand accounts of young girls as young as 8 and 9 years old being abducted from classrooms and sold into sexual slavery by extremist militants. Speaking as a father, he condemned the suffering endured by children who should be safe in school. New field reports paint an even more devastating picture. A Catholic secondary school in northwestern Nigeria was attacked by armed militants, resulting in the kidnapping of as many as 52 students, triggering an urgent search effort. Just days earlier, attackers targeted a nearby church, where 2 worshippers were killed and 38 others were abducted. Shockingly, ransom demands have reportedly reached $69,000 per person, heightening fears that kidnapping has become a monetized terror industry. Over recent years, the death toll among Christians has climbed into the thousands, leading some experts to classify the crisis as Christian persecution or genocide. Trump's remarks reference these figures as he renewed calls for the U.S. government to take a stronger stance. During his administration, he designated Nigeria as a country of particular concern and threatened both economic sanctions and even the possibility of deploying U.S. troops if the violence continued unchecked. A State Department official recently announced that efforts are underway to develop a strategy aimed at pressuring Nigerian leadership to improve religious freedom and better protect at-risk communities. However, analysts and humanitarian groups caution that Christians are not the only victims. In another attack earlier this week, 25 Muslim children were abducted from a school in a predominantly Muslim region, with only one child managing to escape. Experts say this illustrates that extremist militant groups are inflicting widespread harm regardless of religious identity, while the Nigerian government insists it is not persecuting any faith group. Critics argue that even if persecution is not intentional, authorities are failing to protect their citizens from escalating brutality. The humanitarian consequences remain staggering, especially for young girls and women, who continue to make up a heartbreaking share of the abducted. As new kidnapping numbers emerge, global outrage continues to build, while families across Nigeria remain traumatized, waiting, praying, and hoping for the safe return of their loved ones.